Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel and to Music Journal Monday. As you can see, I've got my music journal out as far as it's got. I'll just take it out of its wrapper. And my plan for today, though it's a very, very loose plan, because I would really like to try and get the cover done, just because I'd really like to layer it up with some lace and some yummy things. But before I do that, I need to finish the inside of the cover. I have trimmed down all my signatures because they were a bit sticking out here and there last time, so I have got them trimmed down and they're ready to be sewn in. Whether we'll get to that today, I don't know. I'm not going to put myself under the pressure to get to that done as well as the cover, because I think the cover might take me a while. I just have that feeling it's going to be a hard one to decide how to do it. So it might take me a while to get it how I want it, because I've got a kind of picture in my mind, but I don't know how easy it's going to be to get there. So I'll put those aside for now, and we may get back to them, we may not. So what I'm planning to do is, partly what I'm going to use for the cover, is this paper pack from my lovely Tiana, my lovely subscriber, who sent me all that box of goodies. I've picked out a whole pile of bits from that box of selection of things, a whole bunch of things here that I'm hoping to use on this cover, whether I use them all or in the journal in some way. So I'm definitely want to put some of that on, so I'm going to pull that out. I might get some of these jewels on, I'm not sure yet. So I've just pulled them out just so that they're there, and also this pack of different papers that were all different textures and colours and things. I may be able to use some of that as well. So I'm just going to put that to one side, but I want that in front of me so I don't forget to use it. But the first thing I've got to do is put some papers in the middle. Now I remember at the end of the last video, I cut down, I believe it was these papers to go in here. But afterwards, I wasn't all that happy with the colours together. I thought it wasn't enough of a contrast. So I'm going to ditch that idea and go back to the papers and see what actually I prefer. I think I wanted something a bit more neutral, because there's lots of really lovely neutrals on these papers. So I want to try and pick out something that would work better. And they don't have to even match, because by the time you put all the signatures in, you're not going to see one next to the other. So let's just pick something out that might work. There's all my scraps. Let's put all these to one side. I suppose this is a possibility, but I don't know, because it'd be orientated the wrong way and it's not big enough that way, and I don't want to do it that way, so that's not going to work. So let's put that aside. We've got this is not going to work, obviously. It's the same as the one before. I have got a piece of this. Oh, and I've got another piece here, which that might be possible, but I'd still quite like to use this side, really, if we get to make any more ephemera, which I do hope to do. So I'm not awfully keen to use that, just because that is so pretty. I might just put that to one side. I think I had a couple of pages. So this one, I've still got a lot of fussy cutting to do. Well, not necessarily fussy cutting, but I'm going to probably use this, maybe use this, and a few other bits and pieces from here. So that's still to be used. What else we got? Right, so we've got these pieces, and I think so. That's an envelope. So I want to use that. I might use some of this on my cover. I'm not sure yet. Put that to one side. What have we got here? Yeah, that would be quite nice, but I might use that, or part of it, not all of it, because I want to save some to use for other things. I have got this. Now that would be lovely on there, wouldn't it? I really like that. So that might go on the front, in the front. I might use all of this, because this is it's a beautiful image, but it's huge and it's just not going to go on anywhere. So I might use part of this side and then part of this side. So I'm not sure yet. but I think for now, I think this is the page I might want to use. I've got some more journal cards here, so I might be able to use one of these somehow on the cover. Maybe cut it down and put the piano on the cover. I'm not sure yet. I've got various options for what... I want one of these images on my cover, but this is obviously going to be too big as it is. I might use one of the tags. Depends on how big a space I need to take up. So this would cut down nicely, but this doesn't say music to me. I mean, they're very beautiful, but they're not... I need something with an instrument to be on the front, I think. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just decide. So I really want to cover up. This is quite messy, this corner, and a bit bulky. I'm not happy with it. I don't know what's the best thing to do. And I thought, well, if I can try and cover some of it up with this, and then maybe that's the way to do it, and hope to disguise it a bit. I might even put a bit of lace down the side, inside even. Yeah, that might be an idea. I might put a bit of lace on the inside so it just pokes out, but it kind of disguises this messy corner a bit as well. So, right. So I need to mark where I'm going to cut. So I need to cut just inside here before the bend, and make sure it covers most of this page. Cut there, and then I'm going to put it... Sorry, I can't see up there, can you? I've got to try and be aware of where the camera's pointing. I'm so sorry. Right, so if I put it there, you should be able to see, and then I'm going to mark it just up from the bottom. Just do a mark there. See how that looks. Okay, get my trimmer, which I've covered up with almost bits of paper. And then here we have the option of a pocket or a journal card. It's the start of something, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, all of these papers you could use. I could probably have more ephemera for this journal than for any other, with all the kits and all these beautiful papers and all the things I'd like to make. Right, let's see how that looks on here. Yes, so then if I pull out, now where did I put my signatures? Yeah, if I pull out my first signature, which is going to be this one, and that's going to go in there, that is going to go lovely with that, isn't it? Yeah, that's great. So, yes. Okay. And then the other side, well, I guess should really, let's just check it. Needs to be the same size. I'm assuming it does. Yes, so I'll just use this as my template, and I'll cut the other one to match. I do wonder, actually, whether I could put her on the back somehow. I'd have to cut some of her off, that's the only problem. Let's see, if I use that as a template and did it to about there, she would lose her feet. Would that be a problem? Let me just... Well, would it be a problem for me? I'm sorry, I can't ask you whether it's a problem for you. But it would be to about here. And it would be rather lovely on the inside, wouldn't it? Yeah, I might do that, you know. I might just mark it there. So there. And there. Shall I mark it just above that mark? And there. And then down here. Right, let's try and cut that down and see how it looks. So that one can go there. and this one can go here. I do like that. So I better get these glued in, hadn't I? And then we can move on to the front. I have refilled my Fabri-Tac bottle, so it'll probably go doolally, spill out everywhere, but it might come out a bit easier than usual, hopefully. Right, I've got plenty of wipes at the ready. Oh, I need to ink it first. Ink each of these first. So, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the vintage photo just because I'm just wondering whether to go for walnut stain. It's a thought. Just to make it stand out a little bit more. Yeah, I might try that. Let's give this a try for a change. A bit of walnut stain. See how it looks. I might just try it on the back just to see if I like it. I've had to put a new pad on, so I have to give it a bit of a rub. Yeah, I think I do like it. I think I do. Right, let's go for that. Just for a slightly different look. Right, so they're inked. Now I just need to glue them into place. We're lined up with the other one. Okay, so then because I'm going to do a hidden spine, I shall probably put a piece of fabric across the bit that they're going to be sewn into. So there'll be a bit of fabric coming down on the side here, which I've still to choose. But I'll probably pick out this beautiful turquoisey colour, or try and find something that will enhance it, or I'll go for something plain, or I might even go for some lace. I haven't quite decided yet. That's for possibly, very likely, for the next video. I think we're going to concentrate on getting this finished today. So now we've got to look at this. It's just so tactile and strokeable. I keep saying that, don't I? It's because I keep wanting to stroke it. It's just lovely velvet. But I'm going to cover some of it up. Not all of it, obviously, but I do want it to have something really pretty on the front. I was going to look at some of the images from the Stamperia paper pad. So I think I'll just cut a few out, roughly. Not really. I think I'll use these scissors. Just to try and get an idea of what sort of size I want. So this one was an option. What else we got? Got those. Okay, that's what we got on. And then we've got this. These tags here. Well, these are a selection of different things, aren't they? But I think that's these look like small journal cards that you fold over. I'm not sure, or maybe even pockets. I think I'll just cut this one out. Might be too small anyway, because I would only use that half. It seems a shame to cut it in half when it is just so pretty. And you could fold them in half and then make it into a little pocket, I think. You see, we can fold it down there and it would make a really lovely pocket, but we'll see. But that's an option. Don't think there's anything else on here that would work. What else have we got? This is the front page. Oh, and there's this lovely harp. I like this because it's, what's the word? Portrait instead of landscape. And these are all landscape so far. And so therefore it would go quite nicely on the cover. So I prefer something long and narrow rather than short and wide. So that's a definite option, that one. I'm not sure about the piano here because it's been cut in half and I have got the other piano. So there's that one. What else have we got? And we have some tags which also have lovely images. And I think this one would be a definite option as well. We will see. Okay. See how they look size-wise on here. So if I was to use the piano, I'd have to cut it down. Where's my ruler? I'd have to cut it down about there, wouldn't I? Maybe. It would work. So there's that. Tag. Might be a little small, but I have a feeling all of these are going to work. I think if I've got that option, I don't think I'll go with this option, so I'll dismiss that one. And then there's this one, so it's a completely different orientation. I can cut it off here. Yeah, I think I will anyway, because I don't really want the extra bit at the bottom. Right. So I've got that, which is lovely, and it makes a bit more of a statement, I think, than the little violin. So I think these might be my two main contenders, and they've got very different looks. So if I keep those by me, put this back, we can use, I mean, I should definitely use this. I'll probably fussy cut this out anyway and use it for something, use it to embellish, which I have done. There was another one that had the violin facing the other way, and I already used that on one of my Roxy Creations pockets, I think. Okay, now the hard part. I have too many choices of lace to go on this, because I want it to have a lace background and layer up. So it's a case of which one I put at the back and which one and then have a smaller layer before I get to the image. So I want to look it really lacy and pretty, and I've got, yes, I must forget, I've got this, haven't I? Love this. So this is going to be one of my layers. So, in a case of what other laces might go with it. So this is like a mesh, and it keeps sticking to everything, but it has that gold thread running through it. So I think it wouldn't be the back. Oh my goodness, look at this. It just grips everything. It grips everything it touches. But look at that, isn't it gorgeous? Right, so if I'm just going to cut a piece of this off, I think. I don't think I'll use my fabric scissors for this. This feels, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what it's made of. I probably won't use all of this, but I'm going to cut a piece off and see how it fits on. And I should probably trim off these bits at the side. Right. Now I pulled out this piece because I don't think I've ever used this. It was a skirt I bought in a charity shop, a big circular skirt. But the lace is really rather lovely. Now it's sticking to me. And I'm just wondering whether to use that, possibly, in the background. Try and get it straight. I'm going to cut a piece out. That doesn't mean I'm committed, but until I try things out, I won't know. I think the problem with this is it's cut on the round, so it if I try to cut it straight, everything looks slightly at an angle. So I might have to, I don't know, to get it to. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to cut a piece off, and then see how I can make it look straight. See whether I can make it look straight. I have got loads of this, and I think it's the first time I've pulled it out. But it will not be the last, I don't think. And cut it across here. So I don't want the topper to completely cover the whole of the front. Right, something like that. Let's see. We're making a start. That's all we're doing at the moment. Trying a few things out. So I will cut it down a bit more, but not until I've decided what is going to go on it next. Oh, well, I think this might go on next, mightn't it? Right. So I think this is going to be a bit tricky to work with, this stuff. Just because it kind of keeps sticking to everything. It's got this kind of rough edge, and it grabs anything that is anything fabricy or lacy, it just grabs. There's that bit. Ah, look at this. Oh, goodness me. And I want to cut the other side off. Right. So let's just try these things out. It's all subject to change. I've got a rough nail and it's catching. As bad as this meshy stuff. I've got two. No, I'm going to have to go and sort these out because this is driving me nuts. Okay, I'm back. Yes, I did remember to turn the camera back on. So as you can see, all I did was actually trim off a little bit off the side there just to square it up a little bit so give us a better idea of how it looks. And hopefully my nails won't keep sticking to them, catching on it now. I need to give them a bit of love. I don't do that very often. I'm not very good with my nails. So there's that piece. Now I've also got, so that's an option. I've also got this beautiful fabric. It was part of a sample I got. That was, I think, quite a couple of years ago. I managed to get some samples from a remnants bin. So they're just this big, but they're plenty big enough. And I thought this design goes quite well with all the swirly whirlies in the in the paper pad. The only problem is, of course, I don't have pinking shears. So I might have to cut that off if I was to use it. But I do quite like that, I must say. I might just cut a piece down to try. So that's a possibility. And then we can put this on top. Right, so I had another interruption because my memory card was full and I had to go and empty it out. So as I was saying, I could put that on here, like so, and that would look rather yummy. And then some lace on top of that. Now, which one should I use? I don't know whether the other one is too dense. I think it's either got to be at the back. I think you put it on top of it and everything else will disappear. So the next layer should be something a little bit more see-through. So I do have this really gorgeous, I think it was a somebody's blouse, top, whatever you call it. And I love cutting out the flowers to use, but it's also rather nice just on its own. And you can see everything through, and you can see the glitter of the gold coming through there, can't you? So there is that. And then I was thinking we need a bit of colour. So I don't know whether I need to put... I don't want to lose what's there. So I've got some bits of fabric picked out. I really like this. I wonder if that would go on there, just a small amount of it somewhere. Got that, and I've also got this beautiful piece as well. It's like peacock feathers. Oh, that's gorgeous on there, isn't it? Picks up this colour, and it picks up the background. So this might be the paste to use if I'm going to put anything on there. And also I might use it inside for the spine, inside the spine. So let's see, I might just cut a small piece of this. I haven't used any of this before. It's gorgeous. So let's move let's move some of this aside somehow. I wasn't sure how this would go, but I think actually it would go quite nicely. Let's just tear a good chunk off. Oh, it says Liberty, look, it's a Liberty fabric. Isn't it beautiful? By Mary Catherine. Apparently. I just picked it up in a fabric shop as I think it's a fat quarter. Or it might, I'm not sure if it's even bigger than that. But anyway, it's a beautiful piece. And I just fell in love with it. Right. Put this aside. Now, let's see how this might fit on here. I'm just going to have to cut a piece of this down, this floral lace, and I might have to trim it at some other time, but I don't want to cut through the flowers just yet, so I'm going to cut round. That might look quite nice there, like that. Now I'm just wondering if I might need to leave this a little bit later in the process. I don't want to cover that up, but I like it glinting through this, so maybe the thing to do would be to put this next, a little piece of that next. Don't know. Okay. Let's see how this looks now. So a bit of that. And then maybe this bit of gold mesh with a gold thread, so you can still see the beautiful colour through, and it just gives it that little touch of colour that I think it might have needed. Let's just pop that on here for a second, hold that in place, and then maybe a bit of this gorgeous stuff. Next, somehow, I did manage to get 3 pieces on, didn't I? 3 flowers without, something like that. Like that. And you still got all the colours popping through. Might be too much, I'm not sure. And then we've got our, maybe this. Would that go on next? So I might back this with some of that paper. If I can find it. What have I done with it? It's got buried. Some very pale blue in here somewhere. Let's see if I can find that. Yes, I've got this piece of very pale greeny blue. There's also a piece of this, bit of music. I don't think, no, it's not going to fit that way round. Yes, have we got, is that the same colour? Yep. No, it's a bit paler. So, yeah, I could use a bit of that perhaps. How that would look there. I might just tear it down and see, because I love this rough edge. So let's see if this is going to work. I might still have to put a little something between the two. I'm not sure how many layers can I fit on. I don't think you can have too many layers on a cover, can you? I don't know. So, and of course doing that means I lose all my fabric. Haha! Maybe I need to use the fabric as well behind the picture. Okay, let's try that. I have to make it a little smaller, I think. That way. And then it's just poking out a little bit. And I've got this bit poking out here. It's a little bit lost, but you can kind of, you're getting little touches of the mesh either side. When I cut down this, it might poke out a bit more actually. Maybe that's the way to go. Of course, there's always the other option, is the piano. And then I'd have to turn everything the other way, that's the only thing. And I think it might be too wide going that way. I don't know if I don't know that I like it going that way, so I think it's going to have to be it's going to have to be this. I think the first thing I want to do is just round the corners and ink the edges of this. Now, how does that look now with the... I think this is a bit too wide now, so I might just take a little bit more off. Made a right mess of that, but never mind. Never mind. Might be able to cover it up anyway. Once it's glued down, it might not show too much. Maybe I can just tidy it up a little bit. So much for not using the ruler, but actually, freehand didn't go too well, did it? Okay. That might be a little bit better. So, okay, so there's that. And then I've got a beautiful piece of fabric here. So I think I'll need to ink around this so that it shows up against the back, against the fabric behind it. And then so that's now going to be a little bit too big. So I might have to just trim that down a bit more as well. Don't know if I'll be able to tear it, but I'll try. Nope, just too narrow to get hold of. But cutting it seems to actually fray it quite well. Maybe I can now. I've got a bigger piece to get hold of. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Managed to do that bit. Now the fraying's gone a bit mad now. Right, okay. So I've got that piece, and that piece. Now I think what I'd like to do now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just glue them lightly in the middle, and then I'm going to go and sew round. I think that's what I'd like to do. Then it's a single piece, and it's easier to work with. So just a little dab of glue on both of in the middle of these. Right, so I've sewn this round here, just a zigzag stitch, and I'm really pleased with that. Just gives it that finishing touch. I like that. I did also, before I turn the camera back on, trim this piece down the side here, and now I don't like it. I wished I hadn't trimmed off this flower, so I'm going to abandon that piece, put that to one side. I've cut another piece because I had plenty of it. So I'm going to, again, I want this one, and this one. So I'm going to cut round and leave this one intact this time because I think it will fit quite nicely, and just go round. So yeah, I need to just trim these around and then see what we've got. Right, so I have trimmed off the pinked part of this, just because otherwise it would look a bit odd to only have two sides pinked. And it doesn't seem to fray overly much, so it's not any kind of problem, and I don't mind if it does anyway. And then I've got my little piece of floral lace to go on there next, I think. I'm hoping that will help. It will look okay there like that. Right, and then we've got our bit of mesh to go over the top. Now, once I've put this on, is that going to be sufficient? Because we can always add some embellishments after that, can't we? But I think I'd like to... It's not got as much lace on it as I had originally intended. But I think what I will do for the moment, I think I'm going to sew these bits together. Actually, I wonder if there's just one more little layer I could add. Something that's fairly fine and see-through. Oh, actually, do I want to... No, I was going to put this underneath the lace, wasn't I? Not on top. I think that needs to go underneath. Needs to go there. And then this piece on top. Like that. So you've got plenty of the mesh showing through. I think what I need to do, I think I need to sew these three together. Otherwise I'm going to get into all sorts of trouble with this mesh if I don't tack it down in some way. So I think what I must do, well, I'll take this off. Oh dear, I've got all sorts of bits all over my cover now. Right, so I think what I need to do is put some Fabri-Tac on these flowers and somehow glue it through the mesh just to hold it in place like I did before. And then pop off and sew it. This is the right way around, isn't it? No, that is the right way around. Because this side has got the label on it. I think either side would work, but... Right, now I need to lay this down. Somehow and get it to stay put. I may have to trim bits off the sides, but for now... Right, I'm just going to put my ink pad there to try and hold it. Pull it down a touch. Okay. And this needs to not stick to the glue pad, to the ink pad, but stick through the mesh to the fabric. And then I've somehow got to try and sew it in place. I'll just trim this bit off here. So I think it's the only way it's going to actually lie flat is if I sew it. But for the moment it's like that. And then do I need to put anything else? Seems a shame actually that this is going to be so covered up, isn't it? Yeah. I'm wondering if I can, possibly a bit late to think about this, but if I could snip them apart. I may be completely ruining this now, but I somehow pull it out a little bit. Could be too late. Now I've glued it. Didn't think of that, did I? Okay, so I managed to peel off each of the flowers, snip them apart and just widen them out. And then I've sewn around. I changed the colour of my thread so you can't see it, which is a good thing. But I kind of went round a couple of times, kept trying to catch in all the little flowers and going all the way around the edge as well, so that it's nice and firm in there, and the gold mesh is caught inside. Let's just trim off this dangly bit and this odd little bit there. And then let's put this back in, so hopefully now the floral bits show up much better, which they do. I'm just going to snip off those bits of thread. And let's see how that now looks on the cover and decide whether we need any more bits of lace, because why not? Not quite sure where. It may not be part of the main topper, but we'll see. So this now goes on there. There's all sorts of bits floating off to the side, which we may have to just remove as we go along until there are no more to go. Just tidy as we go. But yeah, I've got a little bit coming off here. Well, that's all right. Don't mind the little bit of fraying on the side of this piece. Yes, I'm liking how that's going. I'm thinking we're going to need something possibly in the corner. I wonder whether to have a piece of lace underneath, between these two, just down here. So we could go into our rolls or strips of lace rather than the big pieces. So I have got this. It's a bit of a favourite recently. I bought this in a local haberdashery shop, and I went a bit mad. I don't know how many metres I bought, but at least 2, if not more. But I just think that's gorgeous, and that might just give it a lovely little finishing edge along there. Oh yes, I do like that. So I need my fabric scissors for this, I think. Like that piece. So yeah, so that can go along there, I think. Yeah, I think I'll just tuck over the top of that. Trim this silly piece off. I think I might have to glue this down now and put this on and see if there's anything else that we can put. And I might hang on to this until I've decided if there's anything else that needs to go on here. I've got to put this on as well, haven't I, after that? Let's glue this on because I think we're going to put, that's definitely going to go on there. Right. That's going to go there. Like that. Alright, so then we've got that, and I'm just wondering what I can put, what else I can put on here. I have got these gorgeous things here, look, they'd go so well. I don't know if these flowers would work, might do. I don't think I've got any other bits. I don't think I want dragonflies on here. So I don't think these bits will go on here for now. They might appear later in the journal. I want to see what flowers I've got. I'm just going to have a quick look. Right, I've gathered a whole collection of flowers here. Some tiny ones and some bigger ones, and I'm not sure about the tiny ones. I don't know whether they'd fit in around. I've got these. I've got these rather lovely ones, but I'm not sure the colours are quite right. Don't think they're going to work. I've been dying to use them, but I don't think they're going to work. So I've got these. They're very bright, aren't they? Don't know, maybe. And I have got these as well. I've had these for years, but there's some in here that might just do it. Oop, let's just get this. I've got my eye on in here that might be just the thing we need, or they might be too big. They're like a fabric with a shine to them. And I'm just wondering if something like that, I don't know whether we'd want to put one of those big gems in the middle, or whether we want a contrasting colour. That would go in the middle. There is that as an option. I've got a few loose ones floating around in here, most of which are sort of pink or variations of pink, but there was one in here that I thought might be interesting. It's got a sort of bit of a, I don't know what you'd call this kind of fabric, like a burlap fabric with a bit of gold shot through it. I did wonder if that might go on there, and whether I could get one of my gems in there, maybe. It's very, very thick, and I'm not sure if it's a bit too much to go on the cover. It won't lie particularly flat, and I know that's not necessarily the biggest problem on the cover, but whether I could make that work, I'm not at all sure. That one, I need to grab out, just open this packet for a second. I think something like that might work. Or this one, which would lie quite a bit flatter. But I'm not sure that we want the same colour in the middle, that's the only thing. Although I quite like that. There's that size, I think the next size up. No, I don't think we want this do we? No, we don't want that big. I think that size would work. See if there's anything else in here. I have got some leaves as well. I'm going a bit too far away from the music side of things to have leaves. I don't know why there's glitter. Oh, they're glittered on the end. Could do that. What else we'll be looking at? We were wondering about these as well, weren't we? Maybe either side. What are these packages? Oh, there are flying everywhere. Let's see about the blue. Oh, actually. And there's the white as well. I'm not sure about the white. Well, it's not completely white. It's not bright white. It's actually a very similar colour to the lace. Ooh, I love these pearly centres. I'm wondering if that bright jewel is quite right in here. I might see if I've got something a large pearl of some sort to go in the middle. Right, I do have a selection of pearls and crystals on cards. Oh, that one might be big enough. It's got a slight tinge of blue. It's not completely white, which might work quite nicely. Oh, there's the much darker one. But is that going to be big enough in the middle there? I feel like it might need something else behind it just to... That is the biggest one I've got. What did I pull out? I knew I had something. I wonder whether to... No, they've already got a pearl in the middle, haven't they? Okay, one more search. I've got one more thought. Right, I have these as well, which don't have anything in the middle, and they're a bit bigger. Would that go there? And then the pearl could nestle in the centre of that. How about that? Yes, I think that might be it. Okay. I think I might go with that. I know it's not musical, but it's just the top, and it looks pretty. And I think I'd like to do that. Otherwise, it looked a little plain to me. So I think that could go there. Whether I put something up in this corner as well, I'm not sure. But let's get these bits on now. I'll have to figure out where my bit of lace is going to go as well. That might just have to come out the side here. Okay, lots of gluing now. And I have just realised that I'm going to be covering up some of this flower by doing that. So I'll just see if it would look any better or equally as nice on the other side. And if not, well then that's just unfortunate. So I could put it there and still not lose my flower there. Tuck that in. That in there, whoops, like that. put this underneath here. Okay, see how that looks. That one. Under my leaf. And that one just tuck under there. How does that look? I think that looks actually pretty good. Yeah, I think that will be okay. I might put a little flower in this corner here maybe. I think always my natural inclination is to do that corner to corner that way. But I do plan to put some lace down the spine, so it may be a good idea to have this away from that. I'm not sure. Is it too much on this corner? I don't know, I don't know, it feels a little unbalanced. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure whether that would look acceptable down there. Up here. Don't worry about the leaves for the moment. Let's just see about the flower, which is the big kahuna in the top corner, in the corner. Is that going to work? No, don't like that. Let me just try again. This corner. Or this corner. I think it's going to have to be this corner. It's my natural instinct. And you have to sometimes go with your instinct, don't you? I don't know. I could go up there. Okay, it balances a bit for me now. And also I just realised that having it here, you're right about you're kind of covering this bit up, this sort of the base. This is the open area on the image, so maybe it looks better there, where you're not really encroaching too much on the harp there. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to do that. So I think I'll pop the little leaves in first, so they're right in the right position. It might be a bit more difficult to tuck under, I'm not sure. Put that in the middle as well. There we go. Okay, and I think I would like to put another little flower up here, just by itself. And I think we'll call that a day. I will do a bit more, add a bit more lace. I think I'm going to add some down the spine. And I did say I was going to add some just on the inside of here as well, wasn't I? So we might look at that next time, when we'll be sewing in the signatures. That'll be a video in itself, isn't it? Just sewing in signatures. Never an easy task in my book. There. Okay, there it is. I'm pleased with that. I think that's turned out completely differently to what I had in my head. But no, nonetheless, I'm happy with it. Yeah, happy with that. And we've done the... Oh no! Ha! I put it on upside down. Oh no! Look what I've done. I put it on the wrong... Oh my goodness. What am I going to do? Okay, well, I'm going to have to think about that, aren't I? This is an unmitigated disaster. Well, I can't unstick all of this. So there's only one thing left for it. I'm going to have to somehow cover these up. Oh, that is just, that's the second enormous boo-boo I've made. I mean, really, it is the most ridiculous thing. That's because they look exactly the same back and front, and I just didn't check. That is rookie mistake. Number 2. I'm dreading number 3 now. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Something hideous. I know, I don't doubt, but I'm going to have to think about what I do about this. I'm so sorry, guys. It's, yeah. Okay, well, that's definitely the end of the video. I'm done. So thank you for joining me for this disaster, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.